Dorothy, I know it's been a while, but try and control yourself. I need some rest.
The Golden Girls didn't just make people laugh. They made people sit up and wonder what just happened.
The father? Gee, I don't know.
When the show burst onto television screens in the mid-1980s,
Yes? I kind of lost track.
nobody was ready for the storm it would unleash. 4 women, all past what Hollywood called their prime, became the most talked-about faces on TV. The jokes were quick, the themes sharper, and every episode pushed another button.
No daughter of mine is marrying some skinny white boy.
But even a show famous for crossing lines found itself deep in controversy one night. There was a scene so bold, so off the wall, that even longtime fans were left stunned. What could possibly have rattled audiences used to this much sass? People whispered, critics argued, and network executives started sweating. One unforgettable moment left everyone divided. This wasn't just another laugh in the Miami kitchen, it was a television earthquake. Before the storm hit, the Golden Girls had already broken nearly every rule in the TV playbook. This was a world built for youth, yet here came Dorothy, Rose, Blanche, and Sophia, all in their 50s or beyond, lighting up the small screen. The idea sounded like a gamble, 4 single women under one roof, facing down life's madness together. But instead of fading, the show caught fire. People saw themselves in Dorothy's sarcasm, Rose's wild stories, Blanche's boldness, Sophia's biting wit.
Dorothy, guess who's here?
My date.
Your husband.
I don't have a husband. Call the police.
Viewers tuned in for the laughs, but stayed for the feeling that these women were living life on their own terms. Week after week, they tossed aside what was proper and tackled the big stuff: romance, loneliness, health, family, and everything nobody wanted to talk about in public. There was freedom in their friendship, and the audience felt it. But with every wall the show knocked down, it was only a matter of time before they hit something even bigger. The mid-1980s didn't look kindly on controversy. Network television kept things safe, predictable, sometimes dull. But the Golden Girls slipped in sly jokes, sharp as a blade.
I spoke too soon. Can I get you another slice of cake, Uncle Angelo?
No, thank you.
About aging, love, and the secrets families hid from each other. The creators knew exactly what they were doing. They wrote storylines that made people laugh, and sometimes made them squirm. It was that daring, almost reckless energy that brought in millions of loyal viewers. For most shows, touching taboo topics would mean disaster. But here, the chaos was the whole point. Audiences felt the tension, the risk in every episode. Still, even the most loyal fans had their limits. One storyline would test them all. Behind the kitchen doors, a scene was about to unfold that nobody would ever forget. It started like any other story. Dorothy's son, Michael, dropped a bombshell at the kitchen table. He was bringing home his new fiancée, Lorraine. Nothing strange, except Lorraine was twice his age and she was pregnant. But that wasn't the twist that made jaws drop. Lorraine's family showed up, just as worried as Dorothy was, but for a different reason. Lorraine was black, Michael was white. Suddenly, 3 generations of 2 families sat in one small house, trying to pretend this was normal. The tension in the room was thick, laughter on the edge of nervous. Jokes flew fast, but underneath everyone was holding their breath. The Golden Girls had tackled big issues before, but nothing had ever felt this raw, this unfiltered, this real. The line between comedy and shock snapped in an instant. During one scene, Blanche and Rose wandered into the living room, faces covered in mud masks, thinking only of their latest beauty routine.
Come back.
Lorraine's mother took one look and froze. For a second, she thought they were wearing blackface. The silence was heavy.
This is mud on our faces. We're not really black.
The misunderstanding cleared, but the damage was done. A joke about awkward white people and dance moves tried to lighten the moment, but the air never really cleared. Watching at home, people felt their hearts skip. The show wasn't mocking, but it wasn't running from the discomfort either. The characters were trapped in an awkward dance, not just with each other, but with the times they lived in. The scene was over in seconds, but it left a mark that never quite faded. If the mud mask moment wasn't enough, what came next pushed things even further. Both families gathered around the kitchen table, the spot where all the biggest decisions always happened. Suddenly, Sophia blurted out the question everyone else was too nervous to ask. She wanted to know if the rumors about black men were true. Blanche chimed in, then tried to back out, but the damage was done. Even Dorothy, usually unshakable, looked stunned. Trudy, Lorraine's sister, fired back with a line that flipped the entire conversation upside down. It wasn't just about race anymore. It was about every awkward thing families never say out loud. The show was pushing viewers right to the edge, forcing everyone to stare at their own biases. For the first time, even the laughter felt uneasy. The fallout was instant, fierce, and everywhere. Viewers called in, some angry, some cheering the show's nerve. Letters poured into NBC. People argued at home, in bars, in newspapers. Was this comedy or something darker? Some praised the Golden Girls for going where nobody else dared. Others said the show crossed the line. Decades later, the same episode would disappear from streaming, yanked for being offensive. But the real story was messier. The cast hadn't set out to mock. They'd tried to spark a real conversation. The mud mask was never blackface, but the confusion was enough to stir up years of debate. Online, fans split down the middle, some furious at the censorship, others relieved. One thing was clear. The Golden Girls had made television history, but the cost was bigger than anyone expected. Backstage, the drama ran just as hot. Cast and crew debated how far was too far. Estelle Getty, who played Sophia, drew her own lines. She refused to say jokes she thought went beyond decent humor. Betty White and Bea Arthur had their own battles, with different ideas about what comedy should be. The tension made the scenes crackle, the laughs sharper, the awkwardness real. For the women of the show, controversy was just part of the job. Even with fights and misunderstandings, there was respect, a shared belief that comedy was meant to make people think. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it hurt, but nobody ever played it safe. That was the secret behind the magic and the chaos. Time passed, but the controversy never really went away. In 2020, the infamous episode vanished from streaming, only to reappear 3 years later with barely a word. The debate kept raging. Fans argued about whether shows from the past should be judged by today's rules. Some said The Golden Girls was brave, others called it clueless. The truth lived somewhere in the middle. What mattered was that the conversation never stopped. Every time the episode played, a new generation was forced to reckon with the same questions. What's funny? What's cruel? What's brave? What's just too much? The Golden Girls made people think. They made them uncomfortable, and they never apologized for it. In the end, one scene changed everything. The Golden Girls proved that laughter could open doors, but it could also cut deep. Not every risk paid off, not every joke aged well, but the courage to keep pushing made the show unforgettable. The kitchen table in Miami wasn't just for cheesecake. It was a place where America confronted its fears, one awkward, hilarious, and sometimes painful moment at a time. Should old TV shows be locked away, or do they have something to teach us now? Let us know what you think in the comments. We love hearing your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this look behind the scenes, please remember to like and subscribe for more untold stories from Hollywood's wildest years.